Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Britt Mo. Today, we are conversating and having our first host for Black Girls Cancer Club podcast, Sage Hill. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for joining us today.
hmm
So, we'll just jump right into it. What's your story? Like, what happened? How did you get diagnosed with breast cancer?
So I would say about 2021, I was feeling like a lump in my chest on the left-hand side. And that lump just didn't go away. And it just like kind of grew and then shrunk down, grew and then shrunk down. And then there was like discharge. I went to a doctor here in Oakland. The doctor pretty much dismissed me, was like, you don't have breast cancer in your family. You don't really show any other like signs. And just was like, just come back and see us within a couple of months if it stays. So at the time, I ended up moving in with my partner and moved to a whole different county. So I couldn't go back to that doctor. Um, I would say a little bit into that year, it started growing again. And then it got to a point where it just was like painful. I think it was around September of 2022. It started getting to a point where it was just like hard to get a hug because it felt like something was sharp.
Oh, wow.
And it grew to a size where it was like weird. Like you could see the difference and my nipple was like showing.
Wow.
And so made an appointment out in our area, was able to see a doctor, and she immediately was like, you need a diagnostic mammogram and ultrasound. Going for the mammogram, they of course do the whole machine smash of your breast, and after that, they put me into the ultrasound room. And so they're using the ultrasound. They go over the right breast. They don't really see anything. They go over the left breast. And of course, they're looking at the area that I was complaining about, but then they noticed something else and kept going over that area and taking pictures. And so um, the ultrasound technician left the room, went out to speak with the radiologist, came back, and you could just tell like their face was white and like completely like color flushed, gone.
Like something's wrong.
Yeah, like something's wrong, but you
Yeah.
don't want to tell your like
Yeah.
patient. And so I told them like it's best that you tell me versus me going through the entire weekend of like not knowing. And so she said that it could be cancerous just based off of like what it looked like because it was a star shaped. It was showing different like signs compared to the other lump that was in my chest. We did like a biopsy, I think like the next week, like the next Tuesday,
Wow.
and then got word November 3rd that it was actually cancer. And so that kind of just like kicked off the entire thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to get surgery, radiation, chemotherapy? Like, what was your steps like during your process?
So I actually got really, really lucky.
Yeah.
For me, when they told me that it was breast cancer, I immediately was just like, cut them off, just take it
Take it.
because I don't want them anymore.
Yes.
Like they have already been like trouble from the get-go. And so it's just like I would rather go through the rest of my life without having to deal with having breast issues or feeling like I'm worried.
Yeah.
Because I know myself. I know that I'm a worry ward. If I like know that something's supposed to happen, like we have to have a talk, I'm immediately like thinking about it for way
Yes.
longer than I should. So I don't
Yes.
want to go through the rest of my life like worried about my chest.
Yeah.
So I immediately was telling them, just go ahead and take it off. Their process of trying to figure out whether I would need to do radiation or the chemo treatment was that they were going to do the actual like biopsy of the
Okay.
of the cancer cells,
Mhm.
and then see if during like the what's it called, like when they take your lymph nodes out.
Yeah. The
um
biopsy to the pathology results to
yes
see if
they,
it spread it.
yes, they
Yeah.
wanted to see if it spread through the lymph nodes because
Yes.
that would determine whether I would need radiation or chemotherapy. I got real lucky that it didn't spread to the lymph
Oh,
nodes.
wow.
And
Yes.
so when I had the surgery, it was November 30th. They did the check for the lymph nodes. They said that there was nothing there. So I didn't have to go through the radiation. The next step was checking to make sure that it wasn't like a fast progressing type of cancer. And that would determine whether I would need the chemotherapy. And they did like a DNA background check.
Yes.
They did, of course, the biopsy on the cancer itself, and they determined that I didn't need to do it because it was slow growth. So
Good.
the cancer was the IDC, the endoductal carcinoma.
Okay.
So
you got diagnosed November 1st, 3rd, and then November
30th.
You had went through surgery.
Yes, and that was just the removal of the left breast. It wasn't the removal of the right, but I wanted to have both done.
Okay.
The problem is that they didn't want to do both at the same time because it was too much work.
Yes.
So, and not too much work on their end, but just too much for
On your
like the
body.
healing process.
Yeah.
And so what they wanted to do was make sure like I healed through this portion before I got to the right side of it.
Yes. So you did get double mastectomy at the end of everything.
Yes. The second surgery was that following January on the 25th. And the reason I wanted to do both was just because I didn't really want to walk around with just one breast. It was already hard enough, like going through the healing process. And then like during that healing process, we had a whole bunch of complications. Like that night that they pulled the drains, the whole left side started blowing up. Like the blood that you have to have go through those drains, and like it just swelled to the back. And so we were in the emergency room, I think like 2 or 3 times that week.
Yeah.
It was a mess. Yeah. So thinking about having to go through like other surgeries, I was just glad that we only chose that
one side at the time.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what happened to me too. This side was definitely, so my story is actually kind of similar to yours.
Mm-hmm.
I went in and they were like, "You're too young, you're healthy, no one in your family has it." And I kept going for like maybe 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it did the same thing. It like went away, it came back, it like got small, it got big. And my daughter like touched me and it was like a ball. And I was like, wait a minute, like what's going on? Like a ball.
Right.
And I think that's when I was like, okay, wait a minute, like let's go get this checked. And mine was definitely on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
And this side did drain. Like it was a lot.
It was so much blood. And like I will say like the draining, because they had the drains on this side and it was like 2 drains per side. But the drain portion of it, of having to like pull and make sure that you're getting all the blood out of it, that way it doesn't like clot, and the fear of it clotting, like the fear of having to go back into surgery because it clots, like it just, the entire part of like having to go through that surgery, having to go through that cancer portion was just a lot.
Yeah. Would you recommend, would you do a double mastectomy again if you can like redo everything?
Honestly, yes. And the reason I say that is because like doing the research and trying to figure out like, do I want to keep them or do I want to have like implants? Looking at how much that actually does to the body and how many surgeries you have to go through, like trying to make sure that you have the balloon in you before you even get the silicone, and what they have to do to that balloon multiple times. And I just, having to go through just the first round and like needles and them trying to get an IV and then going through the second round and then having
the anxiety of it all.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
The last surgery that we had, it was like 45 minutes of getting stabbed with a needle because they couldn't get the vein.
Oh, wow.
And that was before we even got into surgery.
Oh, wow.
So the entire process of that, if I had to do it again, it would just be going through the mastectomies and leaving it at that.
Oh, you just
I'd rather just be done with it.
Yeah. I agree. Just that part is like, you know, the drains, you know. How did you like take a bath? Like, how did you like take care of yourself when you like had the drains in? Did you have like help? Did someone like help bathe you? Like, were you just like independent and did things on your own? Like, what was your support during that?
I got really lucky with my partner. I'm just gonna say that I love her. She's in the studio. So Chris is my partner, my wife. Yes. And so I don't want to say she was my little helper because she was my big helper. Like, I couldn't have gone through it without her. Taking a shower was like, we had to figure out how to get into the shower comfortably. Like if I'm moving my arm, I can't move it so much because they give you that pillow that you're supposed to hold after surgery, and you're not supposed to lift your arms past a certain point.
Yes.
So it was a lot of having to use the other hand and being able to like washcloth. It wasn't like a full, I can go into the bathtub comfortably, because if you slip and fall, you've got 2 drains that are in you.
Yeah.
You know, and having those things pulled was tough enough. Imagine if you fell and that rips out for no reason.
Yes.
So she helped me a lot in like making sure I was clean, and like if I had to go to the bathroom, she had to wipe my butt.
That's love.
But that's love.
That's love. That's love. I think they don't tell you that part when you get your double mastectomy, like how much, like you cannot lift your arms.
You can't lay in
reach.
bed.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you have to sit up. Like even feeding yourself, washing your hair, wiping yourself. Like certain things that you take for granted, literally, are just like, you know,
just putting
away.
On a t-shirt. Like you have to really think, I can't just put on a regular t-shirt. I have to have a buttoned up t-shirt, and then I have to figure out how to put that on without lifting my arm, without opening the wound, because like for the mastectomy, it starts in the middle of your chest and it goes to underneath your underarm. So like that entire area is still open.
Yes.
And then you have sutures that are still coming out depending on the type of thread they use. Yeah. And then you have the bleeding, and you're trying to make sure that the bandages don't come off and that you're not reopening it. So it's a lot that you have to think about. The sleeping in bed part was like the worst though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sleeping was the worst. What advice would you give to like another young girl who has to make that decision to, you know, get a double mastectomy or not?
Honestly, choose what's best for you.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
A lot of my thoughts were, how is this going to look afterwards? Is my partner going to find me attractive afterwards? Is my partner going to love me? Am I going to start feeling like upset about my body? And I've got to say, literally, just the point of, I want them gone, and I would rather be flat versus me like trying to have breasts for another person, or trying to like do things for another person. Is kind of that point for me. Or was that point.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest thing for me too, was like losing my identity, like having the inflators in. Because I thought that like when I got the double mastectomy, I was just gonna pop back out like boom with the implant. No one told me that I was literally gonna have to wait a year to get my implants. And so I think, you know, when my initial was like whoa, like what, like wow, I just made this big decision right here, right? But like you said, I was like, I don't want to deal with you guys anymore. Like I don't want to see you guys. We're not friends right now. Like
no. Not at all. Like, we are not friends.
Goodbye, right? Like we're not friends. Like you're not doing me justice right now, right? So I think that's super, super dope. What was some of the biggest obstacles that you faced during your journey?
I gotta say, and like to be fully honest, moving in with my partner, and we went through like something earlier that year. Not having the sick leave to be able to like take the time off. The financial part of it, of just being like, I have to now apply for disability benefits. How does that look? And then I just started a new job. So my fear of like losing my employment, it was a lot for me, of like, I want to make sure we still keep this roof over our head. I still want to make sure that we have food on the table, and like how can I do that? And like having to be vulnerable at that point was huge. Like speaking with a cancer research center, getting assistance from the college because we got free food from the college, having to put up a GoFundMe because there really wasn't any other funds that could like come and help. And then having like the withal of just being like, I'm going to put as much as I can out there, because I know that there's not enough people, not enough representation from us, especially of those who are young, who are Black, who are going through this, and who don't have the funds for it, who have children, who are moving into a new job, moving into a new house, into a new area. And you're just like, where are the resources? So I think a lot of that was like a big hit for me, of just like, I have to put myself out there. I have to share this journey, because I know I'm not the only one going through it.
Definitely. I think that was the hardest part, was like finding the community, finding other people that looked like you, that relates to you, you know, because it's such a lonely time, right? Like your friends and family, they feel like they kind of know what's going on, but you're like, in your mind, you're like, this is like, you don't know what I feel like, right?
Right.
Like your identity is being taken away, like all of that. Then like all your fears are now faced in your
Yes.
face. Like, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my partner. Like, I still want to be desirable, right? It's like the mask is like taken off. Like, we're about to deal with each and every part of it that you feared, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think that's super dope. So what are some of the misconceptions that you think there are out there about women that have had breast cancer?
The misconceptions about how women have breast cancer. I think it's the misconception of like, oh, it's a beautiful thing, or like, it's not as bad as it looks. Like, there was a point I like sat with my partner. She was helping me into bed and I just bawled because I was just feeling like ugly. And I felt so bad about like having cancer, and she had just gone through like a really tough period in her life. And I just felt like I was letting her down because I now had cancer. And it just was like, not everything around you is going to be perfect. Like, you're not always going to have the financial backing. You're not always going to have the support. And I got really lucky with having like someone that loves me there, someone that cares, and someone that made sure that I was good no matter what. I think this whole like pink thing for October and how people want to like come around and just be like, oh, we're here for breast cancer. Like, are you really? Like, once we finish October, you don't hear anything about it. Like,
so crazy. My sister, my bestie, shout out to Dawn. She always says that. She's like, why do we celebrate us in October? It's a 360 thing. Like, we should always celebrate our life. Like, thank you for that beautiful message, Dawn. Like, she always says that. Like, and you're right. We should be celebrated every month because it's a journey.
And then also like the misconception about like the companies like Susan G. Komen and like the ones that are saying, oh, well, if you buy this pink pin, it'll help support breast cancer. But are you really? Like, when I needed the help and I needed the financial backing, I looked for Susan G. Komen's website. There was only like a $500 like assistance. Breast cancer is one of the most expensive cancers that you can get.
Super expensive.
It's not just a $500 like amount. You're going through multiple treatments. Each scan costs, each laboratory costs, going into surgery, the anesthesiologist, you're going to all of these like follow-up appointments. All of it is like,
it's expensive.
Out of your pocket.
It is.
If you don't have insurance, especially. Or you have like crap insurance. Sorry, I don't mean cuss, but
no,
you know,
you're good.
It's the misconception of like, you have all this like support and we love you and we care for you and we're here for you and we're gonna like do pink. But you start noticing like when you go through the journey, like the ones that stand with you, the ones that check in on you,
the real ones
that, like, are you hungry? Do you need food? Do you need us to bring you something? Like, do you need us to like clean your house? Like, those are the ones that really like made me feel
that's very important. That's very important. I think I always get the questions in my DM. What do you say to someone who's recently been diagnosed with breast cancer? Like, how can you support them as a friend? And I'm always like, don't say you're going to be there and you're not going to be there, because no one can fully be there all the time, right?
Right.
But like the small gestures, like sending the food, coming to clean up the house, helping if you have like a child or whatever, just taking the weight off, or even just spending time and just watching a movie and just taking, you know, our minds off of that.
The cancer.
And treating us like normal. Because I've had people like come up to me like, hi, Brittany. It's like, wait, I'm not deaf. Like, treat me like I'm normal. I think that's the most important thing when you're going through this journey. How you could support someone that's going through any cancer journey, right? Is just to treat us like we're normal. What advice would you give anyone who has recently been diagnosed with breast cancer?
Listen to this podcast first and foremost. Look for your community. Seriously. Like, the fact that I was being told so many times, like, you're so young, you're too young for that type of cancer. Normally we only test over the age of 65. Like, look for those like TikToks, those Instagrams, look for all of us that are like showing this is what cancer looks like and how you can like push yourself. Also, sorry, I'm throwing in another podcast, but it did help during the time.
No, you're good.
The Too Young for This Shit podcast was it for me. And it was because of the fact that it was women that had cancer. Granted, they weren't our like skin tone in our background, but they were women that experienced it.
We support all breast cancer advocates. We support.
Because
you need a community. And you cannot do it alone.
And that literally was it, of like finding that community and then finding like the people that have attached themselves to that podcast. And I know that this podcast is going to do that for our community too.
Thank you.
Like I would love to see this one grow just
Thank
as
you.
well, just
Thank
as
you.
much as that one.
Thank you.
And like the fact that they showed resources and they showed other like agencies that were able to help. There were agencies out there that like would send you free kits that
Yeah.
had like the robe that had the pockets for the drains.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah,
I
it
wish
was
I
a
had
lot.
one of those.
Dude, when I got it, I was like, this is fancy. Like I looked it up and it was actually good price too. It was not cheap. So
Yes.
literally there are companies out there that are willing to give out free stuff if you're experiencing cancer, and to order it at the time that you get the diagnosis, because sometimes they don't have the funds themselves to be able to send it out super quickly. But when you get it, you will appreciate it.
I actually got one of those cute little baskets from a company called Unite from her.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me like this cute little basket, and it had like skincare. They had recipes, because like changing your diet, you're like, what should I eat?
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. And I was like, wait, this is so cool. And you're right. Like there was dope things in there, like facial products, brighteners. Like it was really dope products. It wasn't like cheaply made or anything. It was cute. It was cute. Definitely. So, okay. So how was it like dating and having like menopause? Because I think it's a really misconception that because I know me, I was put in premenopause.
Same.
And when I was like reading on it, they were like, things aren't going to be working correctly, and life will be different, But for me, life isn't different.
It's not.
It's not for you too.
It's not.
Okay.
No, we are still doing our thing.
Okay.
But we also got engaged during the treatment.
So nothing stopped.
Nothing stopped our show. So we're going to keep going.
Okay.
But yeah, I was placed on tamoxifen. And so like that's the hormone stopper basically.
Okay.
And so being on that, of course, there's like, once you hit menopause, of course, you start having like heat flashes and weight gain, and you're cold and then you're hot. So
that's me right now.
I've had those.
I'm going through this right now.
So we have those moments like my fingers are cold, but I know that I'm like a warm person sometimes. So like, I don't know why.
I thought that was just me. Okay.
No, it's not just you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, my fingers are like cold, but then like the other part
the other part of you is like warm,
like
and you're
boiling.
like, I don't know what's going on here. So it's like a mixture of that, but nothing has stopped. Like,
nothing has stopped
the intimacy.
Okay, perfect.
Just gonna say that.
Yes, because I think it's something that losing your identity, then losing your hair. It's a lot, right? Emotionally, and a lot of people are always like, how did everything work? I know for me with the chemotherapy, when the hair was gone, I mean, I took advantage of it. I was like, this is like a 24-hour wax right here, right? For me, I was like, I'm going to enjoy every aspect of this journey, right? Because like, I still like, I'm still cool. Like, it's just a hump in the road of, of something that happened to me. But I definitely want people to know, like, pre-menopause isn't as bad.
It's not.
Because I don't have to wear, like, I could wear white whenever I please. Like, I don't have to worry about, like, I don't worry about that. I can wear white whenever. So I think that's like the dope part of it.
I will say I still get mine. Like my cycles are still like fairly normal. I will say that they have lightened up a bit. Like what's it called? Like cramp wise has gotten a little bit better than what it used to be. So
wow.
I don't know if that's like
wow. So what is your are you on a treatment plan?
So I'm on tamoxifen for the next 4 years.
Okay.
Because we started last year, so 4 years now.
Yeah. And then is that all you do?
That's it. I got really lucky with not having to do like the chemo or the radiation. So thank goodness.
Yeah.
But a lot of it now is just tamoxifen and like going back and forth with the hospital. And like I get iron infusions, but
okay. Yeah, I'm on a 5-year injection, Lupron. And then I am on that pill.
On that
tamoxifen. Yeah. I'm on and that's for five years. Forever.
Concurrent or?
It's concurrent.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do my Lupron every 3 weeks, and then I have to take my pill every day. And like literally, I could feel it. Like I like the hots, like the flashes at night are like, woo. And so definitely like when it's my 3-week mark, I'm like,
You're
I'm
like,
here.
okay.
I'm here. Like, I need it, you know, and I don't have a period anymore. Actually, what's crazy is prior to me being diagnosed, which was interesting, I didn't have a period. Like, it has stopped, which is kind of like when
kind
I
of
look,
a telltale sign.
Yeah, when I look back, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, it kind of makes sense.
Well, they do say it's connected with like ovarian cancer and like that area. Like there is an increased risk of having like ovarian cancer after this, and also having
oh, you heard those statistics too.
Yeah, I heard them too.
Yeah, you heard them too. Yeah, there is a risk that we might have ovarian. Please knock on all the wood, everything, all the wood, wherever we can find. Yeah. I've heard that before. What else would I have to ask? Oh, we're gonna take a pause and then go back. I do have this question for you, and then we can end it. Okay. So I do have this one question. I want to know, what is your pet peeve?
About which part?
Like, what is your pet peeve of life? Like, someone who doesn't know you, if they meet you, like, what's something, like, what's your pet peeve? Like, what's something you like that just like, like, what's one pet peeve?
I don't like people cleaning behind me.
Cleaning behind you?
Yeah. She knows it's my pet peeve. I get annoyed because once I see someone clean behind me, at that point I'm like, you clean it. I'm not cleaning it again.
Oh, it's cleaning up behind you.
Cleaning up behind me. If I clean something and then someone goes behind me and they clean the counter after me, I'm going to be upset because then it's like, I would have just left it dirty the first time. Like, don't clean behind me.
That's your pet. That's okay. I get it. And then what is one thing that no one knows about you? Like, people would be shocked to know about you.
Oh, I don't know. I'm an open book.
I am too. I feel like that too. What? One thing.
One thing that people don't know about me?
People do not know about you. People would be like shocked to know about you.
God, that's so hard. I don't know. You're gonna have to let me sit on that one. I have no clue.
No one thing that no one knows.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So
yep, because I didn't know that. when I seen a little.
Yeah.
What is that like bow and arrow?
I
like
really
it's
do
Valentine's
love archery.
Really?
I love archery. And so that was one thing I'm a little annoyed about this whole thing. During that healing process, I was just like, it's going to be a while before I can actually do a bow and arrow again.
Yeah.
But yes, I actually am. You read my mind. I'm actually looking for a new bow and arrow because I went out once and I loved it. And they have like a little course out here in the hills that you can go through. And
in Oakland Hills.
Yes.
Are you guys going?
I don't have a bow and arrow set.
Oh, it's okay.
But yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you not done it since you've been diagnosed?
No.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the strength up here, people don't. Yeah.
I'm working on it.
You're working
on it. I've been doing
like
weightlifting, been trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
And like, yes, there's like strains.
Yeah.
But getting that strength back to be able to pull it, because when you're pulling that bow, it's 20 pounds. Yeah. It's not like an easy pull. You're actually like forcing like that bow. So being able to do that again and like actually go through the hills, and like there's a little bow and arrow archery area near our house. So I'm excited to do that again.
You definitely would get to that point. I've been making like little YouTube videos of like like just showing people like, you know, this whole area was like locked up. For me, because after I got my mastectomy, I was like this. Like I literally was like that.
And then the shocks that you get afterwards because your nerves are reconnecting.
Yeah.
And then I had a whole like situation where like my arm got cold. Like my whole arm would just get like numb, cold. And it was just because of like the lymph nodes being taken out.
How many did you get taken out?
I don't remember the number that they pulled.
I got 3 taken out. So you get the neuropathy,
I had it like right after that surgery, and I would be sitting on the couch and we would be underneath a blanket and my entire arm would just be frozen.
Yeah.
It was such a weird like situation because the rest of my body was hot, but it was just that part that was like I was standing outside. Yeah.
Do you get the tingly feelings in the fingertips? Yes. Yeah, I do too. I like just try to rub my fingers together like super fast, or like put my hands on like the car heater if it happens at the car. Yeah, these are all normal things. Yeah.
Or when the oven's on, you just open the door.
Oh, that's a new one. That's a new one.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
I like
do that.
I really like baking.
Okay.
Like, she knows I've been cooking cookies all week. So.
Okay. You have to bake me some cookies then.
Definitely have to.
Yes. Well, we appreciate you for coming.
Thank you.
At Black Girls Cancer Club. I'm so excited. Actually, it's crazy how I got in contact with you. You went to high school with a couple of my native friends. I'm from Richmond, and so like I have a lot of Oakland friends. And when you posted your story, my friends were like, "You add this girl. This is my friend." Repost it. I'm like, wait. Who is this girl? And so then I added you on social media, and I immediately, I think I DM'd you, and I was like, "Hey, I'm your bestie. Whatever you need, I'm here. You strong. You got this." Like I always do that. Like if you add me on social media, I'm going to message you. Especially if I find out you're like in my sisterhood, I'm like, don't be shy. Come say hi. Like my pictures. I'll repost your pictures. Like I'm just that person. I just am like, you know, you have a community. You have a sister now. Like, you know,
you do too.
Yes.
You do too.
Thank you.
It's not a one-way street.
It's not. And I'm just like, you know, I have to love my sisters, like, because it's a journey that you do definitely need the support. Yeah. So I definitely appreciate you for coming and giving Black Girls Cancer Club your time and speaking to us and speaking to the new generation before us, because, you know, it's the new generation. And I want them to know that, you know, it's okay. There is life after treatment. Like, look at you and I. Like, you wouldn't even tell that we
look. You could be fine after surgery and be like, I've got no titties, no nipples, and I'm happy with it. Yes. She'll see me run around the house, and I'm just like, I know I don't have them, but yes.
Period. I love that. I love that energy. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you. It's a blessing to be here.
Yes.
I'm a star, got these niggas wishing. He say he hungry, this the kitchen. Yeah, that's my dog, he gon' sit down and listen. Call him a trick and he don't get a holler. I'm a star, got these niggas wishing. He say he hungry, this the kitchen. Yeah, that's my dog, he gon' sit down and listen. Call him a trick and he don't get offended.